You know you can write clean code and your backend is going to break in production. This is not because your code is bad, but because your API design is bad. Hi, my name is Goodluck and I'm a software engineer. And on this channel, we break down software from first principles. If that is something that interests you, please give us a like, subscribe, and follow, as this will help suggest this content to other developers like you looking for depth over surface knowledge. So this is where many people get it from. Most developers don't actually build APIs or design APIs. They expose backend operations, database operations over HTTP. So you see situations like an endpoint such as get user or create order or delete an item. Now that might work until it doesn't work anymore. You start seeing things like inconsistent behavior, back-end and front-end system not being able to understand themselves, a system that is very difficult to scale. So let's break it down from first principles. At its core, REST is just a way for systems to communicate about resources, and they communicate using a shared language. Now that might be a little bit complex. Let's break that down into pieces. The core idea here is resources. So a resource could be something like the user. So the user will have information like the username, the first name, last name, and the rest of it. The second concept of REST is statelessness. And for me, that is like the most important concept or the most interesting concept. So by statelessness, we mean that every request should stand on its own. So the server should have no memory of the previous request. So everything that you need or that the server needs to be able to process a request should be sent across with the request. Understand? So let me give a real life example. So let's say you go to a restaurant and you order a food and the waiter shows up and you tell the waiter, okay, so give me this, give me that, and all that. And the waiter goes with that information, with the data for that particular request to the chef in the kitchen, which is the server in this case. And the chef processes your food and sends back the response through the waiter to you. Now you get exactly what you need. So the chef does not need to try to check the record or to say, what did you order yesterday? So do I need the information from what you ordered yesterday to be able to process your current request? So that whole concept of being able to process your requests and give a response based only on the information sent across with the request is what we call statelessness. So the concept of statelessness makes it possible for REST APIs to be able to scale, to be able to be very secure and reliable, and also to be very lightweight, because since it does not depend on a memory from the previous request. So let's bring it to the real world. So this is where most issues actually happen. So let's say you're building a payment solution or an application that updates frequently, or a Web3 solution. You begin to see bugs where the user retries the system multiple times, like duplicate operations happened on the API, and the state of the API goes out of sync. So this is where real problems begin to happen. So instead of thinking of what endpoints do I build, you should start thinking of what resources do I need, what state does it represent, what kind of operations would be going on that resource. This mindset shift alone would change how you approach building APIs and literally make you build APIs that is more predictable and can scale. So here's your takeaway. REST is not just about memorizing rules. REST is about designing systems that can scale in production, systems that are predictable, and systems that do not break under pressure. Because at the end of the day, a good API doesn't just work. It behaves exactly how people expect it to behave.